The studio lights of The View blazed down like interrogation lamps, turning the iconic circular table into a gladiatorial arena. Joy Behar, in a crimson blazer sharp enough to slice bread, leaned forward with the predatory grin she reserved for conservative guests who wandered into her crosshairs. Across from her sat Blake Shelton, boots polished, flannel crisp, and a smirk that said he'd rather be anywhere else but was staying for the fight. The audience buzzed. Whoopi Goldberg moderated with the weary air of a referee who'd seen too many cage matches. Sarah Haynes and Sunny Hostin flanked Joy like backup singers in a Showdown anthem. Alyssa Fair-Griffin, the lone conservative voice, looked like she was mentally drafting her resignation letter. Joy wasted no time. "Blake, let's cut the bull. You've been cozying up to Trump again, posting those cryptic tweets, wearing that ridiculous hat at your last concert. Are you telling me a man who sings about small-town values is okay with a convicted felon running the country?" The crowd erupted in a mix of gasps and cheers. Blake leaned back, strummed an imaginary guitar string on his knee. "Joy, darlin', I sing about beer, heartbreak, and dirt roads. I don't sing about your echo chamber. But since you asked, yeah, I wore the hat. It says, 'A Make America Great Again.' Shocker, right? Half this country still believes in that." Joy's eyes narrowed to slits. "Half this country also believes in science, Blake. You know, facts, like climate change, or women's rights, or the fact that your buddy Donald tried to overthrow an election." Blake chuckled, low and dangerous. "You wanna talk facts? Let's talk about your show's ratings tanking faster than a sinking ship, or how you've spent years calling anyone who disagrees with you a bigot, while you sit here in your Manhattan bubble, lecturing flyover country on how to live." The audience inhaled as one. Whoopi tried to interject, but Joy steamrolled. "Oh, please. You're a multimillionaire who married Gwen Stefani. Don't lecture me about bubbles. You live in a mansion bigger than my entire block." Blake's grin vanished. He leaned forward, voice dropping to a growl that silenced the room. "You know what, Joy? I grew up in Ada, Oklahoma. My brother died when I was 14. I worked construction, sang in bars for tips, and clawed my way up while you were reading teleprompters and calling it journalism. Don't you dare talk to me about privilege." Sunny Hostin jumped in, voice trembling with righteous fury. "This isn't about your sob story, Blake. It's about accountability. You platform a man won't." Blake cut her off with a raised hand. "Accountability? Let's talk about your network. CNN, MSNBC, ABCA all spent 4 years calling Trump Hitler, then cried a democracy dies when he won again. You rigged debates, buried Hunter's laptop, and gaslit half the country, and now you're shocked people don't trust you." Sarah Haynes tried the soft approach. "Blake, can't we just No," he snapped. "You invited me here to ambush me. Fine, but I'm not your punching bag." He turned to the audience, voice booming. "You all want the truth?" Joy Behar called my fans a deplorables on this very show in 2016. "Remember that?" she said. "We were racist, sexist, dumb hicks, and now she's mad I won't kiss the ring?" Joy's face purpled. "I never You did," Blake said, pulling out his phone. He held it up to the camera, screen glowing with a clip from 2016. Joy, smirking. "Trump space, deplorables." "Absolutely." The audience roared, some in outrage, some in vindication. Whoopi slammed her cards down. "We're going to commercial." But Blake wasn't done. As the feed cut to ads, he stood, towering over the table. "One more thing, Joy. You want to destroy someone? Look in the mirror. Your hate's poisoned this country worse than any tweet I ever liked." The cameras caught Joy's stunned silence as Blake walked off set, boots echoing like gunshots. Backstage, producers scrambled. Alyssa followed him, whispering, "That was a broken bar legendary." By the time the show returned, Joy was composed at the barely. "Well," she said tightly, "that was a broken bar spirited." The audience laughed nervously, but the damage was done. Within minutes, #Blake destroys Joy trended worldwide. Clips ricocheted across X, TikTok, Truth Social. Country radio stations played God's Country on loop. Liberal pundits screamed misogyny. Conservative influencers crowned Blake king of the culture war. That night, Blake posted a single tweet, told Joy the truth. She didn't like it. #small town values. It garnered 2 million likes in an hour. Joy, Meanwhile, went on a tirade during the after show, calling Blake a bully with the guitar. But the internet had moved on. Memes flooded timelines. Blake as Thor, Joy as a melting snowflake. When Stephanie posted a cryptic Instagram story, a cowboy hat emoji and a mic drop, the fallout was seismic. The Views ratings spiked 40% to their highest in years, but sponsors pulled ads. Citing toxic discourse, ABC issued a mealy-mouthed statement about robust debate. Joy took a sudden personal leave. Blake, he headlined a sold-out show in Tulsa that weekend. Mid-set, he paused, sipped a beer, and said, "This one's for Joy." The crowd erupted as he launched into a new song. Bubble popped. Joy's song, a lyrics dripping with oaky venom. "You called us names from your ivory tower, preached your gospel every golden hour, but truth don't care about your TV lights. Small-town boys win culture fights." By Monday, the song was #1 on iTunes Country. Hollywood whispered about blacklists. Nashville threw a parade. And somewhere in Manhattan, Joy Behar stared at her reflection, wondering how a cowboy from Oklahoma had just burned her empire to the ground with nothing but words, a smirk, and the unfiltered truth.